right. Hello, hello. Whoops, my screen's not on. Hi, everyone. My name is Steffany Kisling. I am the founder of SkyAngels. SkyAngels has been around for 11 years, and we specialize in training corporate flight attendants, but it's more than just training. You can speak to any one of our SkyAngels, and it really is about growing professionally and personally and being able to use those skills in any luxury services industry. We have some SkyAngels that are on yachts, personal assistants, house managers, all these amazing industries that you can get into when you start getting connected in this field of luxury services and hospitality. So I would encourage you, as you're launching your career and you're starting your career, to really think outside of the box as far as other opportunities that are available to you. But today, specifically, we will be focusing on the NBAA. And again, the things that I'll be sharing with you in NBAA, I'm just going to turn off this music real quick. For the NBAA conference, this can be used in any networking platform. And so I'm so glad to have you all here, whether you're actually able to physically attend NBAA or you still want to connect with people who will be attending NBAA, or maybe it's too expensive for you to attend NBAA and actually like pay the ticket of the conference. You can always sit out front, because I don't know if you've been there before, but if you can at least get your ticket to Las Vegas, even if it's just for the day, and you just sit out in like the front area where tons of people come out there and they congregate and they have meetings just to get outside of the conference halls and things like that. So there's still opportunities for you to connect at NBAA, as well as other events that NBAA might be hosting in your local area, right? So NBAA has this big conference that they host once a year, either in Las Vegas or in Florida, Orlando, Florida, or they have regionals in your area. So again, thanks so much for. I'm going to add some more people are coming in. Just going to grab my notes to make sure I go over everything that I want to go over. But one of the things, I've been going to NBAA for a long time. My first time was 13 years ago, and it was very overwhelming. It felt very intimidating because over 60,000 people attend this event. And again, I don't know how things will change this year, but I imagine it's still going to be pretty bustling with a lot of people. And when you arrive at NBAA, I want to make sure when you arrive at NBAA, there's the conference hall, and then they have what they call the static display. And the static display is where aircraft are staged, and you're able to walk on them and, get a good idea of the different types of aircraft that are out there, especially if you're new to the industry. And it seems like a lot of you jumping on this call right now are fairly new to the industry or thinking about getting into the industry. And so I would encourage you, whether you already have your training or your brand, or whether you already have it or you don't have it, that you can start networking at these events regardless. But they have two different things, the static display. So if you're brand new, it's a great way for you to learn the different types of aircraft and to get more comfortable and confident on those aircraft. Because regardless of which flight attendant training program you choose, we teach general emergency training based on the FAA FARS Part 135. Right? And so that's just general emergency training that can be applied to any type of aircraft. But then you want to get specific aircraft training when you're actually flying on that specific type of aircraft. And so when you go to the static display, it's really exciting to see the different types of aircraft and get more familiar with, okay, these are the type I would fly on, less likely to fly on these type of aircraft, and definitely too small for any sort of in-flight service. But even on some of the smaller ones, you'll be doing some in-flight service, like just cocktail service or appetizers or something really simple, where they still want, a flight attendant for safety on board, as well as, the whole flight experience. But as you approach these events, in order not to feel overwhelmed by it, is to really come prepared. And so as I go back to, my story about, attending the event, it feeling very overwhelming, very exhausting. It's quite expensive too. And so you want to make the most out of not only your financial investment, but your time investment. And so what I failed to do the first time going there was knowing who I even wanted to connect with. What is my intention? What is my purpose for actually being there? and then making sure that I met that intention during that time. And instead I didn't. And so was it a waste? It wasn't a waste, but it did feel very chaotic and not organized. And I know that my time there could have been spent more efficiently had I just spent time discovering who's going to be at the event, researching those people, and then connecting with them before the event and setting up meetings beforehand. And so that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today. I'm going to go over some of the stuff that, we teach our graduates at SkyAngels Sky Academy, and then dive a little bit deeper into specifically for this industry. But the first thing you want to do, basically, there's 5 steps to prospecting. And so we're going to go over those today. Let's see, let me grab my notes open. So today we're going to be going over, you're going to discover, right? Discover who's going to be at the event, right? You're going to research those people or those companies to make sure that you understand what kind of conversation you're going to be having with them, right? Because conversations are going to sound and look different based on the people that you're connecting with. And so it'd be really important that you're first going to discover, then we're going to research, then you're going to connect with them and set meetings beforehand. Then you're going to network, just generally networking with anybody you weren't able to connect with prior to attending. And then we're going to go over the process of following up with them. And so that's, again, these things are things that you can use. These are skills and tools that you can use for any sort of networking event. So does anybody know, and you can just chat in the box, where's the best way to discover employers or people that you want to connect with? And again, you can just comment in the chat box. Don't think too hard. Like, where have you been prospecting right now? How do you find people? BizJet, okay. NBAA directory, LinkedIn, great, perfect. Okay, so one of the things, LinkedIn is great, but it can also, there's a step before LinkedIn that I like to share with people. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you and show you a website that we use. In fact, I'll just type it in right here, and maybe you can, go on to it while I'm also going through it. But it's called Air Charter Guide. And if you haven't heard about this website, I'm so happy to be the one to introduce it to you, because this is basically like the yellow pages of private aviation. And so you can go in there and you can discover a whole Rolodex of operators that you can connect with. And then you can see, are those operators going to actually be at the industry, at the event? Sorry, I want to step back 1 second. So NBAA has an app. It's called the NBAA 2021 app. And looks like this. It has the NBAA, oops. So it just has the logo. You can see it down there in the corner, right in between the ring. I guess that ring works well for something. But you can go in here and you can actually click on exhibitors. Okay, so once you download the app, on the bottom, there's going to be, and anybody can do this. Oh gosh, I'm sorry, everybody. Okay, so down here, and then there's one called exhibitors. Okay, so you can click on exhibitors. And so you're actually going to use Air Charter Guide and the NBAA app and LinkedIn all in order to connect with the people that you want to be connecting with at the event. Okay, so why is this important? It's important to know, there's so many people at the event, but it's important to know who you actually want to connect with, as far as, do they have aircraft that I fly on, right? And the type of aircraft that we fly on are categorized as heavy, okay? And so when you go on to Air Charter Guide, that's how you can see. So maybe we'll do it this way with NBAA, is you scroll down on the app, and let's just see the very first one that comes up, and it tells you the booth number too. So this is really good, because once you get there and you get the map, you can strategize, because you could be walking millions of miles when you're at these conference halls. If anybody's been to these events before, and don't wear heels, don't look too sexy. We should definitely go over attire, right? You want to almost look more like you're an attorney, very business professional. Don't show any cleavage, don't have dangly earrings, minimal makeup, right? They want to be able to envision you taking a flight for them that day. So you want to look like a flight attendant. You don't want to look like you're going to a nightclub when you attend this event. But anyway, so let's see. The very first one that I recognize as being possible, and again, if you're new, this might This is just going to be trial and error. But you kind of want to look for anything that says like jet at the end or aviation on the end. Those tend to be operators. But the first one I see in the Rolodex is ACI Jet, and it's going to be at booth 1259. Okay. So what if I don't know that ACI Jet actually has aircraft that I would fly on, or it's somebody that I want to connect with? That's when you go over to Air Charter Guide. So again, let me go ahead and bring up Air Charter Guide on my laptop, and I'll just quickly go over how to use it. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because we have a lot to cover. But again, this is recorded, so you'll be able to go back and view it. And you can also be taking notes right now. Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay, here we are. All right, can everybody see, just nod your head, the Air Charter Guide website? Yes, okay, great. So here at the top, you have your tabs, right? And you're gonna click on operators. And let's just say ACI Jet, right? So it's like, oh, I want to research who ACI Jet is. So not Steffany, ACI Jet. I'm going to search it and see if it comes up in here. And again, not every company is going to be in here. It's the yellow pages, some people, but here it is. Okay, perfect. So here's ACI Jet. I'm going to click on it. It says it's located in San Luis Obispo, California. So I don't know, again, for some of you that are new, just because it's based in a location doesn't mean it doesn't have aircraft in other states and possibly even other countries, okay? It just means that's where their headquarters are. So, and the way you can tell that, so if we go to ACI Jet, we click on here, and again, if you remember, the category or type of aircraft we fly on is categorized as heavy. And so you can look right here and you can go, oh, okay, great. ACI Jet is actually a company that I probably want to connect with there. Right? So you click on, you see there's a global, it's a heavy jet, heavy jet, heavy jet. And then it looks like actually all of theirs are based out of San Luis Obispo. So you can see it says base. So when it says base, you click through here and you can see that all of the aircraft that they do have are actually based in San Luis Obispo. So again, that doesn't mean if you're like, oh my gosh, I live all the way over in New York, like I'm not going to bother with them. You could still, if they love you, right? If an operator loves you and you're a great fit for their company, they will relocate you, right? So you still want to connect with them, but maybe you just, and part of their conversation with you, connect with them is just say, you know, I'm based here in New York. I understand that all your aircraft are based in San Luis Obispo. I still wanted to touch base with you and introduce myself, right? And when you approach conversations like that, you're basically showing like, I did my research, right? Like if their conversation sounds like that, I know you're based in San Luis Obispo, I'm based in New York, but I still wanted to touch base with you on the off chance that you ever need a flight attendant, you know, last minute out of New York. I just wanted to meet you, right? Then they're like, okay, great. This woman, this man has done their research. And therefore they start to feel more confident in you. Because what can happen is that you're just connecting with a bunch of different people and there's no like genuine connection that you're trying to make with them. You're almost kind of like in this needy, desperate like mode of like, I just need to connect with as many people and I don't care who they are and I don't even care where they're located, and you don't actually spend time to research them. That's going to come across, right? And so in this industry, attention to detail is like the biggest skill that you can have. I know like culinary and all of that blows up on social media because attention to detail isn't something really you can take pictures of. But attention to detail is going to be one of the biggest qualities and assets that you can show a company that you have. And so through these little conversations of first researching the company, and then letting them know, again, having that conversation. I know that you're based in San Luis Obispo and so are your aircraft. I'm in New York, but I wanted to meet you just on the off chance that should you end up in my location without a flight attendant, that I'm available, right? Also, when you're on Air Charter Guide, a great thing to do is say like, okay, well, who and how do I connect with these 29 pilots, right? Because pilots, I would say 80% of the time make the decision of who they want to fly, what flight attendant they want on their aircraft. So during this NBAA conference, you definitely want to make a point to be connecting with pilots right? Not necessarily the HR manager, because the HR manager is somebody who does all the paperwork with you after you've already been basically chosen by either the chief pilot or the chief flight attendant, where you kind of already gone through the other interview steps, and then the HR is the very final one. So somebody mentioned LinkedIn. So let's go ahead and go over to LinkedIn and just type in Air Charter Guide. So if you do not have a LinkedIn profile, I encourage you to definitely spend time. That's why we're having this conference, this NBAA workshop 2 weeks prior to even the event, because there is some legwork that you want to do to prepare and make sure that you're putting your best foot forward. And so you want to have your LinkedIn profile dialed in, have a professional photo, no like selfie, kissy faces or anything like that. Again, really professional, minimal makeup. And now I'm going to put in ACI Jet. And again, you can take it with your phone. I'm not saying it has to be a professional photo, but you just want to be professional in the photo. All right, so here's ACI Jet. So this is beautiful, right? And even right here, it shows some people that are already connected. Here's the William, of the owner of ACI Jet is William, right? Founding partner, pilot, Mike Perry. So this is a great way where I can just connect with Mike right here. I'm going to add a little note. On the free version of LinkedIn, you can connect with these people directly. And so because I know ACI Jet is an operator that has heavy aircraft that I would fly on, Mike is a pilot there, and he's somebody I'd want to connect with, right? So I'm just going to say, hi, Mike. I am going to be, well, hang on, let me see. I am looking to connect with amazing people at NBAA and would love to connect with you. Are you going? Right? So something as simple like as this, right? And so what did I do in just a few words is I basically made him feel good, right? I'm like, I would love to connect with amazing people and I want to connect with you. I'm basically saying like, hey, I think you're amazing and I'd like to connect with you. And so you can send these little emails. I won't actually be there because I'll be hosting October Sky Academy. So I'm not going to hit send on this, but if you just want to take a screenshot and use this template, right? Or take a picture of it with your phone real quick, then you could easily just use the same template, right? So when you're reaching out to people, you want to edify them, right? You want to find something that you have a commonality. So when I say edify them, you make them feel good, right? You pay them a compliment. So people love to read positive things about themselves. And so you don't just want to be like, hey, Mike, you're going to NBAA, let's connect, right? There's no draw in, there's no genuine connection. But when you add in things like, I'm looking to connect with, other amazing people in NBAA and would love to connect with you, okay? You can go even deeper into this. And let's see. So you could, the owner probably is not going to be there, but, well, I shouldn't say that. The owner might be there. And so you could just even message him, right? And so again, talking about different messaging with the pilot, like I'm really wanting to connect with the pilot, but maybe with William, you can just say, I researched your company, make sure you're being genuine about that you actually spent time researching their company. And you can just say, William, I'll type it up again. Okay, so William, I spent some time researching your company. Wow, it's amazing what you have created. I am hoping to connect with a few of your pilots at NBAA. Is there anyone in particular? I'm going to go back and change the spelling. You would recommend. Okay, so let me show you what I did in this one too. Let me see if I can bring it up a little bit. Sorry, let me see. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to step back really quickly. So as you can see, these little red lines are happening under here. There is an app, if you use Chrome as your browser, there's an app called Grammarly, and you might be able to use it on other browsers, but you click on it and it'll show you where you have misspellings, where you have punctuation or grammar, improper grammar. And so here it's saying like, hey, you're forgetting some commas and you spelt it wrong. Do you want to change that? So you definitely, again, this is a very elite high-end industry, and spelling, grammar, punctuation mistakes are not acceptable, right? Because what did I talk about, being one of the main qualities is attention to detail, right? Because you ultimately are representing that brand, right? You're the face of that company. And so if I'm writing the owner and I have a bunch of grammar and misspelling and all this stuff, I'm not going to come off professional, right? He's probably not even going to engage with me because I didn't take the time and I wasn't thoughtful enough to just slow down and spend some time actually making sure the email sounds right. So let's just talk about this email really quickly. Here I have a big file. So William, I spent some time researching your company. Wow, it's amazing what you have created. Okay, I'm hoping to connect with a few of your pilots at NBAA. So again, I edified him, right? I spent some time researching your company. Wow, it's amazing. You could even add in something specifically that stood out during your research. And again, the best way to research it is just to go directly to their website and read about what their mission is, right? And add a little point into that. But for the sake of time, I'm not doing that in here, but definitely add that in, right? I spent some time researching your company. What amazing thing you created. I would add it here. Like, I really love how, X, Y, and Z, right? And then I'm hoping to connect with a few of your pilots at NBAA. Is there anyone in particular you would recommend? So what I'm doing here is I'm doing a call to action, right? I'm wanting him to engage with this by asking a question. So in almost every email, even with the pilot, I said, are you going? Right? Like, I'm enticing that person to engage with me and respond. So it's helpful, right? If in your emails you have a nice warm introduction, you edify them, right? You have a lovely conclusion to your email, but then you also have a call to action, right? And I can even do it like this because most people go straight to the PS. So you can even add a PS and just say, PS, is there in particular you would recommend? Most everybody, and you could probably, go through some emails, you kind of scroll through and you look at the PS first, because that's where the exciting stuff is. That's where like offers are made or things like that from your favorite brands, etc. So again, I'm going to leave this up here for a second. So if you want to screenshot it, take a picture of your phone, this is another great template that you can use to connect. So basically, going over what we've just gone over, right? We're in the discovery and the research phase, right? Discovery, we're going to discover who we want to connect with using both the NBAA app and Air Charter Guide. Okay, so as we're scrolling through and we're seeing the vendors who are going to be there, and if you're new, right, I knew that ACI had heavy aircraft because I've been in the industry for 13 years. However, if you're new, you won't know that, right? So you're going to have to couple it with Air Charter Guide and go in there and go, okay, does this company actually have the have the category of aircraft that I fly on? And then likewise, right, you're going to use LinkedIn to connect with them and set appointments, right? So if that pilot, right, and I'm not just going to send Mike an email once, right? I'm not just going to send him a message once. What I'm going to do is I would encourage all of you is for leading up until NBAA when you show up, or again, any event, or even if you're not going into NBAA, you could do a message where you say, you know what, I'm not attending NBAA, but I'm still hoping to connect with amazing people. Like, will you be attending at the event? Like, I'd love to hear your feedback on how it went, right? So you're still engaging with them. And it gives you an opportunity and a great excuse just to connect with people. And if you notice, I keep using the word connect because it is about connection, right? You want to have this genuine connection with that person, or this genuine desire to connect with that person, not in a selfish way, right? If you're approaching things, and you're like, hey, Mike, like, I'm just curious if ACI Jet is hiring. Like, I'm looking for work, right? So is everybody and their mother, right? And that's not a very like engaging sort of interaction to have with anybody. And so it's better if you come from a place of first connecting, learning a little bit about the company. You could ask questions like, hey, Mike, like, or, you know, even William, like, what is like the one thing that you love most about your company, right? Or what is your favorite quality in a flight attendant, right? And those would be like authentic conversations that you're connecting with that person and getting them to engage with you without asking for anything, right? Think about it. If you only got emails in your inbox that were like, hey, are you hiring? Hey, I'm looking for work. Hey, this, hey, that, it would get really exhausting. And a lot of these people, that's sort of email that they get. So as you're approaching connecting with people, come from a very authentic and genuine approach to just want to connect with as many people as possible. Because again, your phone is not going to ring if nobody knows about you. Okay. So again, first come from a place of connecting. And then once you are like, actually ACI is great, or actually, no, all the pilots I've talked to have not been nice. Like, I don't want to fly for that company, right? You get those choices too. And so I'd encourage you to, one, know your worth and know that there are great companies out there. And ACI Jet is one of them. I do know ACI Jet personally, and they are a great company to work for. Okay, so you're going to want to connect with them, and you're going to want to set up meetings ahead of time. So if Mike responds to my email or my message, he's like, yeah, actually, I'm going to be there. Just be like, great. I would love to connect with you on either Tuesday morning at 9 a.m., you know, or, you know, Wednesday in the afternoon around 1 o'clock. You know, which one of those times are better for you? I'm going to stop sharing so that you're not, which one of those times is better for you? Okay. So again, that's another really important approach that you go through, is that you want to be the professional and you want to lead this meeting or this interaction that you're going to have at the event. And so you're going to give them two options to choose from. And then you can even say, you know, if neither one of those options work, you know, what works best for you? Because you want to, what I teach everybody at SkyAngels, my graduates, is that, you know, your job is to make everybody's life easier and better. Okay. So if you're just like, hey, it's kind of like your friend, it's like, what do you want to eat? And you're just like, I don't know. Can you give me some options? I have no idea what my options are. Right. Don't you feel better when they're like, would you like Italian or Mexican food? And it's like, oh, okay, good. It doesn't feel so overwhelming. Right. So you want to approach these connections of setting those meetings ahead of time. So that way, when you show up at the event, you can literally have, and I do not set big meetings, set like 10, 15 minutes. Just say, hey, this is just a quick meet and greet. I just want to meet you, put a face with a name, have you be able to do the same. And then we can go our ways and honor and respect the fact that everybody's going to be super busy and hustling. So if you're saying like, I only want 10 or 15 minutes of your time, honor that. Keep your phone in. One of the things that I do, my phone's buzzing right now, but one of the things I do is I'll be like, okay, great. We got 10, 15 minutes for this meeting before I'm on to my next one and you're on to your next thing. And you just set the timer and you're just going to say, I'm just going to sit this right here to make sure that I'm respecting your time. Okay. When you do that and you approach meetings like that, and then you honor the time, people will want to meet with you all the time. So when I was raising money for SkyAngels Sky Academy, I was meeting with some of the biggest VC firms in the Bay Area, right? Google being one of them. And I would just be able to basically go in and have these meetings because other people were referring me to these other VC firms. Okay. And so, but I always said, like, they would give me a little bit of time and I would honor that time. And so because I honored that time during the meeting, I said, well, you know, we're coming to the close of our meeting. I'll start wrapping things up. If they were engaged and they wanted to know more, they were like, great. Like, no, you can take more time. Like, we're into this, right? Or they didn't. They're like, okay, great. And then I'd say, you know, if I have questions, is it okay if I reach out to you? You know, as I go to grow and continue to develop this thing, I would love to, you know, continue to pick your brain. Oh yeah, sure. You can call me. I can literally call the assistants of basically all the VC people that I met and said, I just want to pick his brain for 15 minutes. And I would get it every single time because they knew I honored and respect their time. And they knew when that 15-minute mark was up, I was going to end the call. Okay. So a lot of people sometimes don't engage because they're already feeling drained and sucked of your time, or maybe you're being too needy and already sucking too much of their time. And of course, on the first introduction, that's not the case, but that could be their experience. And so a lot of people are afraid to set meetings for that reason, right? Like, oh, like the event's so busy, I don't want to get caught in this like long drawn out introduction. Is this helping everybody? Can you just drop like a yes, loving this in the chat box? Yes, yes. Okay, loving this. Thank you. Good. All right. It's my pleasure to be able to serve you. It's so fun. Okay, I got a thumbs up. I love the little virtual thumbs up. I don't even know how to do that. So helpful. Good. Great. Good. All right. So before we go any further, right, do you have any questions? You can just type them in the inbox as far as any questions on the stages of discover, research, connect. I gave you 2 templates. Hopefully you took pictures of those, and I would encourage you to use them. Okay. And it doesn't have to be complicated. And then one of the other things that I mentioned I didn't follow up on was I'm going to encourage each of you, because we're starting this 2 weeks prior to the event, that you challenge yourself to connect with at least 10 people using the Discover, Research, and Connect method I just shared with you on LinkedIn. Okay. Now, if you go to their website and you can find their direct email, that's even better. Okay. So you're going to connect. So let's see, that's 14 days. Oh my gosh. Hang on. You know, you don't have to be good at everything. You just need to know how to actually accomplish the task at hand. So never think that you can't do something because you don't know how to add quick math real quick. Okay. So if we do 10 times 14. Okay. So in 2 weeks, you will have connected with 140 people. Like, that's amazing, right? Like, doesn't that get you excited? Don't you think that connecting with 140 people is going to up your chances of success, of landing opportunities, of landing flights? Because I promise you, by connecting to that many people, and they're going to fall in love with you because how you're connecting with them authentically and from a genuine heart, you're going to always end every conversation with like, hey, is there anybody that you think that I should also meet at this event? Or, hey, is there anybody else you think that I should also meet in this industry? Can you connect us? Right? Then you just blew up your network even more. Okay. So never be afraid to ask also, right? That's also a call to action. Can you connect me to somebody? Especially, so for instance, the way I was able to get into all these different VC firms. Okay. Again, these are people that are untouchable. When I was telling people who I was meeting, they're like, oh my gosh, how is it that you're doing this? And I was like, well, I would just ask, who else should I meet with? And then because I showed up genuinely, because they liked what I was putting on the table, and even though they weren't going to necessarily invest in it because it wasn't in their wheelhouse, they knew people whose wheelhouse it was, right? So as you're reaching out to pilots, you might not be their perfect fit, but you might be a perfect fit for somebody else that they know, right? So that's the other thing I want to touch on really quickly, is that no is not rejection, right? So many of us fail to actually launch something that we want to do because we're so afraid of the rejection. Okay, so if you hear the word no, like, no, not interested in meeting you, it just means next opportunity. Okay, no means next opportunity. God knows the perfect place for you to be. And so no's are actually blessings, because it means you're not going to get stuck where you're not supposed to be. It means that there's something even better and more appropriate for you. Okay. And I would encourage you to go onto our website, and I think it's under the About tab. And then, well, let me just screen share. I don't know why. See, a SkyAngels job is to make your life easier and better. So I'm going to make your life easier and better by not telling you what to do, but showing you what to do. So here we are on our website, About Me, and then blog media. Okay, so if you go in here, we have some great tips. Again, some of you are preparing to come. So here's one about financially preparing, interview tips and tricks, right? You might run into some interviews they might be like, hey, yeah, you might also get like a sit down interview because they want to hire somebody. So there's some tips and tricks for you. Here's this, but this is the one I wanted to share. Bridget shares her story of life before and after becoming a Sky Angel. So in this story, the reason I wanted to show you that to you is, oh wait, were you all able to see that? Oh no, sorry. I just realized that. Okay. Well, let me go back. Okay, so here we are on our website. Let me start from I went to the about. Okay, so our website address is flyskyangels.com, about, okay, blog and media. So this is the page I'm currently on. So you'll see this page. All right, preparing financially. So for those of you who are getting into the industry but are saving money or whatever, there's some creative tips and tricks for you. Interview tips and tricks that I just mentioned. If you're already in the industry, some of you have been flying already for a year. Here's some other great tips of how to wow your private jet traveler so that you're getting requested back by me. Oh, darn it. I kicked over my coffee. Cheers. Coffee with Steffany. Okay. And then we also have Bridget shares the story of life and before after becoming a Sky Angel. Now, the reason I wanted to share this specific blog with you, or it's actually a video, is that Bridget made a game out of hearing no. Okay. And she knew because if she was hearing the word no every single day, it meant that she was still taking steps towards her dream. Okay. So if you go through a whole day without hearing the word no, it means you probably didn't even send an email out. Okay. And no can also just be like, they just didn't engage with your email. Okay. Was that helpful? Does that get you excited to have some tips there for you that you can reach out to and watch for your time? Also just to inspire you and get you going. But okay, so going back to Mike the pilot, right? If we go back to Mike the pilot, and I sent that text to him, which I didn't because I'm not going to NBAA, so I don't want to be a liar, but you're going to send those texts to pilots and things like that, is I'm not just going to send it once. Okay, so the next email that I'm going to send to Mike, so let's just go back to Mike, our best friend here. Okay, and now I'm going to send another message to him. Whoops, yes. Okay, did everybody get this picture, like a good one to send to CEOs and things like, oh wait, you can't see my screen again, can you? Hold on. I'm going to just keep it shared because I'm going to be doing a lot of that. Okay, so everybody get this screenshot. Again, you can use this template, personalize it to you. PSs are great because everybody gets excited about a PS in an email and it catches the eye, and it's also a call to action. Okay, let's see, discard that message. Okay, so Mike, I already sent him a message. Nope, I don't want to message him. I want to connect. Okay, I'm going to add a note again. I'll just say, hi, Mike. Did you see my previous message? I am hoping to connect with you at NBAA and learn more about AC jet and your experience flying with them. And connect with you. Oh wait, no, I already said that. Okay. Again, keep it short and sweet, but I'm basically following up because the rules of sales, and if you're in this industry or getting into this industry or getting into any industry, and again, these are skills that you can apply to any industry in any field, is basically sales 101 is you have to connect with people at least 7 times. So where I see people failing and launching their careers, again, whether it's becoming a corporate flight attendant or maybe you're getting in as a pilot, I didn't actually ask that. So down in the comment section, if you wouldn't mind responding if you're a flight attendant, pilot, or just curious about the industry or whatever. But you want to connect with people at least 7 times. It takes 7 times for somebody to even engage. If they engage before then, like, you're super lucky. Okay, so don't get defeated if you're like, nobody's engaging, because it's not actually about the engagement. If you make it about the engagement, you're making it about you, right? You're coming from it at a very selfish angle, like, oh man, like they're not responding to me, right? And you kind of go into this victim mentality. Instead, it's like, it doesn't matter if they engage with me. I'm here because I want to connect with amazing people, and I think that that person's amazing, right? The other beautiful thing that's taking place is that whether you're sending an email or you're sending a message, is they're going to keep seeing your name, right? And when they keep seeing your name and you're showing up consistently and all your messages are nice and you're just connecting with them, what you're creating is a relationship where they know, like, and trust you. Okay. So many people reach out to SkyAngels, right? If they send something once, I just delete it. Like, this is because people are busy and all the people you're connecting with are busy. And that's not to be mean. It's just that I'm busy, right? But if I see their name come into my inbox for the third time, I pause and I'm like, okay, this person's pretty persistent, dedicated, right? Driven, tenacious, all of the positive words and all the qualities that make a great employee, right? It's somebody who doesn't give up just when the going gets tough, but somebody who keeps showing up regardless of what's happening, because it's not about them, right? It's about providing your amazing service to the private jet traveler. And as a default, you're going to be living this amazing lifestyle and career that you love, right? But that's just a byproduct of you first coming from a place of giving and serving, right? You're nurturing by nature heart, right? That's why you're getting into this industry. If you're just getting into this industry or you just got into this industry for this travel, it's going to eat you alive, okay? Because it's a lot of hard work. The hospitality side is a lot of hard work. It would behoove you more just to save some money and go travel on your own if you're not into this for serving the private jet traveler. So again, it's not about you. It's about, I have this amazing skill that I want to be able to, share with others in their in-flight experience, okay? Or I want to make that pilot's life easier and better. I want to help that company grow and be successful. Right? If you can come from that angle when you're connecting with people, that's what makes you a team player, right? Flight attendants are a dime a dozen, but what's special and unique about you that you're bringing to the table, okay? So know that and ask yourself that question prior to going to a networking event, prior to starting. I would actually spend 20 minutes today just being like, what are my unique skills? Am I really great at culinary? By the way, I'm not. Culinary is not my skill, okay? But I've been wildly successful in this industry for 13 years, even though that is not my skill, right? Because it's my giving heart. It's how I make people feel in my presence that has made me successful, okay? So that's what I promote. I don't promote that I'm going to create these amazing, elaborate meals, because that's not me, right? But that doesn't mean there aren't clients out there that don't care about that stuff. They care more about the other things that I am able to provide for them. Okay, so don't feel like you've got to be this whiz in the galley and a whiz in the kitchen, because there's so much more to this than that. Yes? Can I get a amen? Maybe you're a culinary wizard. Great if you are. Again, go ahead and take a screenshot of this one so you can see what a follow-up. Again, these are great templates that you can use, because oftentimes when I talk to people, sometimes they never send an email because they don't think that it's perfect. And trust me, anything that you're sending out is perfect, and perfection doesn't come until you actually get out there and you start doing. And through doing, right, you learn what works and what doesn't work. Yes? All right. So now let's fast forward. You're at the event, whether it's NBAA event or a different event, or maybe you're at one of the NBAA parties afterward. Again, you are a professional. I get that there's going to be tons of drinking. I'm going to stop the share. There's going to be tons of drinking. Again, who do you want to be? How do you want to represent yourself? This industry, again, it's just kind of focused around drinking, but that doesn't mean that that's how you have to connect with people, okay? There's nothing that's going to scream unprofessional than if you're just sloppy drunk. Okay. So maintain your composure. Great. Have one glass of wine, limit yourself. Right. And then if you have to do a mocktail and just, be carrying around something just so that people aren't still trying to buy you drinks, then do that. Right. Because you want to put your best foot forward, even in casual settings. So when you arrive at these events, hopefully you have business cards. And again, we're having this workshop with enough time for you to run down to a Staples or whatever and print up some business cards. I get it that it's kind of old school and we all do, phone numbers now or whatever, but you're going to want to ask people for their cards, and you're going to also want to give them your card. Okay. If you want to put a picture on it, great, put a picture on it, right? That way it'll help them remember you. If you don't. We don't put pictures on our business cards. But some people do, and it works great for them. Okay. So you just decide what works well for you. And, but you definitely want to get their business card. Okay. Ask for their business card. And then immediately after the conversation. Now, again, we talked about actually setting meetings. Okay. You can set meetings. If for some reason nobody engages with you and you're unable to set any meetings, that's okay. Because then what you're going to do is you're going to go onto the NBAA app, right, which you've already been doing, and you're going to say, okay, these are the companies that I want to connect with, right? And I talked about both the static display and the conference hall. Okay, they're totally separate. You have to get on a bus or you have to drive. They're like miles away from each other. The static displays at the airport. The conference hall is basically in downtown Las Vegas. Okay, so separate how you're going to spend your days there by being like, I'm going to spend these days in the conference hall. Right? I'm going to connect with everybody who's in the conference hall. Then the next day, I'm going to spend the whole day at the static display, because there will be enough people to keep you busy in both of those. But you're going to waste a lot of time if you're ping-ponging back and forth. So as you're setting your meetings, make sure that you're also setting meetings in the same location, so you're not ping-ponging everywhere also. Okay. And again, I talked about how at the front of the conference hall, there's a big, just open, patio area out before you even go into the doors. You can just say like, hey, let's meet in front of the main entry doors outside, right? If the weather's great. Or then once you walk inside, there's like a Starbucks there, and I'm giving you these visuals so you can like set meetings. There'll be a Starbucks once you walk into the main entry steps. And then there will also be like a little food court area. Okay. So you could also say like, hey, let's meet over by Starbucks at 10 a.m. And we'll just, maybe we'll wait in line together. And while we're waiting in line to get our coffee, we'll chat. And then basically it's a long line. So by the time you get through the line, your meeting's basically over, right? But it's a nice casual way to just be connecting with people, and then you buy them their coffee. Okay. So make sure as you're deciding who you want to set meetings with, or which companies you want to connect with, that you're connecting with those people all in the same location. Okay. And then literally map out. So that way your feet aren't getting tired. The other thing that I want to touch on, as you're researching, like, who should I be connecting with? One of the greatest things that my grandpa instilled in me is that the janitor is just as important as the CEO. Okay. So what do I mean by that? It means you never know who's going to open up those doors of opportunities to you. So don't snub your nose at anybody thinking like, oh, you're too low, right? And as a position to actually be able to open up doors. You're going to want to connect with mechanics, right? Oh, you're a mechanic. That's great. What type of aircraft do you fly on, right? Oh, you're a pilot, but you only fly on small aircraft. Do you have a need for somebody to manage the procurement on your aircraft, or the stocking? And the stocking, my friend's coming in, you can come in, the stocking of your aircraft, right? Because your biggest thing is you're just trying to network with people in the industry. And the beautiful thing about pilots is pilots know lots of other pilots. So even though you meet a pilot that flies a small type aircraft that you wouldn't fly on, doesn't mean he doesn't have buddies that actually, would require your services. Okay. So again, the janitor is just as important as the CEO as you're going around and meeting people. As long as you're always connecting with them authentically, and your first question should be, what can I do to help this person become more successful? Not, what can this person do for me? And I promise you that energy will come through if you're making it all about you. And people will be less likely to spend time with you if you're making it all about you versus all about them. So now you're at the networking event, you're walking through booths and you're just, wanting to connect with those people. What are some questions you can ask them? And it looks like we're going to go over time. So I understand if you have to hop off, I won't be offended. I will open it up for Q&A afterwards. So if you want to stick around, and again, this will be recorded. So I want to be respectful of your time. So I will not be offended if you have to leave in 5 minutes. So what are some conversation starters as you're walking through, right? I love asking somebody like, what do you love about working at ACI Jet, right? Or what do you love about Enter in the company name? What do you love most about this industry, right? Those are just great conversation starters just to get the conversation rolling. And a good follow-up to that is if they're like, oh, I love that. Like, why'd you ask? You just say, oh, I'm just, connecting with lots of different companies at this event to see what is the best fit for me which company is the best fit for me to work at. Okay. Because guess what? You're interviewing them just as much as they're interviewing you. You want to find a company that fits with you and appreciates your natural gifts and talents. Okay. Because even if you land a job, but it's not with a company whose values or mission isn't aligned with yours, you're not going to be happy. Or maybe the pilot's values aren't aligned with yours, right? Like that's not going to make you happy. So make sure that you're interviewing the people and the company just as much as they're interviewing you to determine if that's a great fit. So again, questions I like to ask is like, what do you love most about working at ACI Jet, right? Enter in the company name. Have you worked at other companies? I'm just curious. I'm, wanting to learn lots about all the different companies just to see who would be the best fit for the services that I offer, and then know what services you offer, right? If you're just like, oh, I serve drinks and food on a private jet, you're like, yeah, great. So does everybody else. But what makes you uniquely you? Okay. Just be like, one of the things that I really specialize in is XYZ, right? So one of the things I really specialize in is my attention to detail, right? And creating amazing notes on those guests so I know their needs before they even do. Okay. So that's oftentimes how I promote who and what it is and the service that I provide on the jet. Or I'm like, I love kiddos. So if you have, clients with kiddos, like I want to be on those flights. Like we're going to do Hangman. Although I played Hangman with a 5-year-old and I realized just how morbid that game was. He's like, why is the guy hanging? And I was like, this is probably not the greatest game for a 5-year-old. I had to apologize to the dad. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I didn't even think about it. But of course we were using words like cat, hat, bat. But it was cute. But the dad was laughing. But those are the fun things, right? Or I'm great at, with pets on board. Or maybe you have a medical background, right? Maybe you're a nutritionist. Maybe you do yoga. Right? Maybe you can say like, hey, in addition to me doing the in-flight service, when we're at the destination, I can do morning yoga classes with the clients, right? Like that would be your personal brand. So know what your personal brand is. So when they're like, so tell me about you, you have something to say instead of like, oh yeah, I'm a flight attendant looking for work and I provide drinks and food on an aircraft. Great. You just lost them. Okay. So instead, just be like, oh yeah, I just absolutely love this industry. One of the things I love the most is, being able to recognize the guest needs before they even know they have their needs. Like my goal on every flight is there doesn't need to be any communication and they're just having the best experience because I'm paying attention to what they already want before they even know they want it. Like, boom. Doesn't that sound better than just like, oh yeah, I'm Steffany, I'm a flight attendant. Oh yeah, I'm really good at providing drinks and food on an aircraft. Right? It's not going to be impactful. It's not going to be memorable. Okay, so going back to the business cards really quick. You're going to want to get business cards from everybody. The moment you leave that person, you're going to just kind of like go off in a little secret spot and you're going to write notes about that conversation and that person. So if their picture's not on it, you're going to be like, Jim, you got to be paying attention, right? This is the attention to detail. So in the conversation of you just connecting with that person and having an authentic conversation of genuinely just wanting to know him or her, right? He mentions that he has a kid and a dog, and after the event, he's going on a family vacation, right? You're going to want to write all those notes down, because I promise you, you're going to have like 100 business cards after one day if you're doing this well and you're just going and you're just connecting with people, okay? At the end of the day, you're not going to remember what conversation you and Jim had. You're not going to remember his kid's name or that he's going to vacation or anything like that. So write enough notes that when you now follow up with them, and you're going to follow up with them that exact same day, you can bring some of that some of those conversational pieces into the email. Okay. So at the end of the event, you're going to be exhausted. What I would encourage you to do is forego the parties. I promise you nothing good comes from them. Okay. Be a professional, show up to the events. You don't want to be the person who's hungover the next day. It does not make the event fun. Order room service. Your feet are going to be tired. Give yourself some self-care. Get a glass of wine, get some tea, whatever it is, and get out your laptop. And you're going to send follow-up emails. Okay. I'll share my screen again, just to give you what I do. Now I gotta move some stuff out of the way. All right, here's my calendar. I do block calendars. I don't know if you all know block calendars. I'm not going to go into it, but on my Instagram, there's a picture of me walking out of the water with like this beautiful orange sunset behind me. If you click on that one, it will show you. And again, my Instagram is Steffany _ Kisling. So STEFFANY _ Kisling, KISLING. And when you're in there, look, scroll down. It's kind of like, it's maybe like 50 images down. You'll see me again. I'm walking out. I love dips. So you're going to see me walking out of it's going to be a still photo of me walking out of a beautiful sunset. And in there, it'll teach you how to do block schedules with your calendars so that it looks a little bit like this. Today, get off the month and go just for the week, just so you can see. If you break things down by color, I can look at my calendar really quickly and get to the right. Yeah. And I can see like, okay, this color is just like my standard stuff that I do all day. Green are Zooms that I have to, put on makeup for, show up for, right? And again, it's color popping, right? So phone calls, if I had phone calls scheduled for today, they'd be yellow. So I go over that in more detail in that thing, but it helps you create space and time for your prospecting. So for you, right, your standard area, your project time would basically be your prospecting time or your connecting time. And you're going to spend that time during the day, every single day, because you got to make it your full-time job to find work until you have work. Okay. That's how much time and hours you should be spending on it. Okay. But now I'm going to go to my mail really quickly. I don't know actually if I want to do that. I might be showing too much. Hang on, I'm going to scroll that down. So I won't do that because I don't know what's in my box right now. But if you do in the subject line, I put, it was a pleasure meeting you, ... right? I also like using people's name because people love hearing their name as well. So you could say like, Mike, comma, it was a pleasure meeting you, ... All right. And then in the body of the email, you're going to say, hi, Mike, like it was such a pleasure connecting with you today. Thank you for sharing, right? And now again, you're going to edify them, right? And what does edify mean? You're basically going to compliment them, make them feel good, right? Have them pump up their chest a little bit where they're like, oh, I feel good, right? And if that can be in the very first subject line, because typically most email providers, right, you see that first line in the body of an email. Okay, so if that first line needs to be catchy, like it was a pleasure meeting you, like I was really impressed by XYZ, or wow, I hope you have an amazing family vacation. It sounds like it's going to be amazing. I promise you, if you can do stuff like that, that's going to wow that person because they most likely, after meeting you, did not turn around and reiterate the conversation on a note on your business card of what was said and what you look like and all of that stuff. But when you send this email and you bring in part of the conversation, suddenly you're going to be like, oh, yeah, that was Veronica. Man, she was so nice, right? And it stands out because each conversation is going to be different that they're having with tons of different people. So if you can remind them about the conversation they have with you, that's going to help them remember you, right? And what's the goal of prospecting and networking? To be top of mind, right? To be remembered. Okay. So again, you're going to spend time doing discover, right? Who are the operators that are going to be there? Are they actually operators that have heavy aircraft? If they're not operators that have heavy aircraft, I'm going to have a different conversation with them. It's like, maybe I can procure your aircraft or just, stock your stock lockers. Like, is there anything I can do to support you at your company, at your business, right? Wow, this person really cares. They want to help me be successful, right? You're going to research them, okay? You're going to use Air Charter Guide and their website to actually research them, to discover if they have, what type of aircraft they have, what type of company they are, okay? Then you are going to connect with them, okay? You're going to use LinkedIn, or if their website provides their email address, you're going to send them an email, okay? You're going to do at least 10 a day until NBAA arrives. And even if you're not attending NBAA, challenge yourself to do 10 a day until the event shows up, right? Then you, no matter what, regardless if you're attending the event or not, you have 140 new contacts in your back pocket to be prospecting and researching, okay? Then once you're there, you're going to network with people. So maybe you were able to set meetings, great. Maybe you weren't, great, doesn't matter, right? But you're still going to manage your time effectively and efficiently, so you're not getting overwhelmed, by connecting and networking with the operators in the conference hall first, so the people you want to connect with, and the companies you want to connect with the conference hall, and then the companies you want to connect with that have static displays. Okay? Then you're going to follow up with them, okay? And you're going to follow up with them that same night. You're not going to wait. You're going to follow up with them that same night. And you're going to send that email, Mike, it was a pleasure to meet you. Okay. And then in the body of the email, edify them, remind them, not be like, remember we talked about this, but just say like, oh, thank you so much for sharing your experience about how you got into the industry. Like, wow, I can't believe you started as a line guy, right? Like bring it in, and then have a call to action, right? I would love to stay connected with you. What's a good time for us to connect on the phone? And again, give them two options. I'd love to follow up the conversation, or I have some more follow-up conversations, or I'd like to pick your brain on something else. And then always a PS, right? And sometimes the PS, honestly, could be something like, hey, I found this like link with the top, like, hopefully it's relatable to them, right? Like maybe you learn something about them, like, hey, here's like the playing schedule for the Dodgers. I don't do sports. I don't know why I use that as an example, but like I know sports are coming back. So it's like, hey, here's the game schedule for the Dodgers. I know you like it, right? Like, whoa, you just made them feel so special, right? You're giving to them. And so your whole goal when you're connecting with people is you're already showing them what kind of experience the private jet traveler would have because of the experience they're having with you. So a lot of people will say like, oh, you're new to the industry, like you don't have any experience. You might not have aviation specific experience, but you have skills that are relatable experience that can be applied to this industry. Okay, so that's what you want to be able to put forward are those skills. Okay, I think I'm going to wrap it up there because I want to be respectful of the time, and I want to open this up for questions. So I'm actually going to take, we'll keep you muted. Raise your hand. I'll unmute you, and you can ask questions. You can also, if you want to, put questions into the chat box, whatever you're feeling more comfortable and confident with. I would also encourage you, if you don't have your video on right now, to turn your video on. It doesn't matter what you look like. It is okay. There is no judgment here as far as if you're still in your pajamas, cozied up, having your first cup of coffee. If you're driving, I get it. You're welcome, Sharon. Olga. That's great. Yes. So organization, you're going to love that block schedule post that I did on my social media on Instagram. I'll just go ahead and put it down here. Hello, hello, everybody. Yay. There's the beautiful places. I love it. Okay. At Steffany. You know what? I might, again, my job is to make everybody's life easier and better. So while you think of questions, I'm actually going to grab the link to that post for you to watch. Okay. This is what you want to do for your clients too, right? You want to do all the legwork for them. I think you are able to unmute yourself. So if you also want to, because I won't be looking at the screen while I bring this up. So if you want to unmute yourself and ask a question, go ahead and do that. And then everybody can just manage not over talking people. All right, I'm just scrolling right now, trying to find the post, found it, okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to copy the link, and if you have Instagram, then you'll be able to pull it up and watch it. All right, so here it is, I'm dropping it in the chat box, and you can spend time watching that. So again, the resources would go to our website, flyskyangels.com. If you're looking to attend SkyAngels Sky Academy, great. We welcome you. We would love to have you. You can also apply and start your application on the website as well. But go to flyskyangels.com, click on the About, then click on Media and Blog, and you'll find those SkyAngel Live videos that our SkyAngel graduates did for us, because our community is all about pouring back into the community and helping each other be successful. Because we do recognize that when we help other people be successful, we ourselves become successful, right? So again, when you're prospecting and reaching out to people, think about, what can I do to help that company be more successful? What can I do to help that pilot be more successful? Maybe during the conversation with the pilot is there's another pilot looking for a job, and now you're talking with somebody who's looking for a pilot, and just be like, oh my gosh, I just met this great guy. Let me connect you to. Right? Like, wow, amazing. Okay, Olga, I see your hand up. Perfect. I'm going to unmute you or ask you to unmute.
Okay. So thank you so much.
I'm not hearing you. Oh, shoot.
Hello.
That's on my side. I
Hello.
see that you're muted. Let me turn this on. Oh, there you are. I hear you.
Okay. You can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, hi. It was a pleasure to connect with all of you today. It's a great community. So I'd like to ask one question actually. So I'm based in Moscow, Russia, and I'm looking for a CFA job. I was in commercial airlines before in one of the Arabian countries. So I came back home, the COVID hit us massively, and we got redundant and everything. So I decided to move on and go into that sphere, into that industry. So I have a question. Like, you are an expert in this field, and you might be knowing some international companies. They might be having a base, let's say in Moscow, for example. That's where I want to live actually. So do you have any tips how to do the research on those, so that like maybe I can find a job in an international company, like English spoken, because I don't want to lose my English skills as well. And I believe that working for those companies is the best.
A lot of you, by popular demand, shared with me that you want. Sorry. Yes.
Yes. So yeah. So if you have any tips on researching those companies, and maybe you know any names or something, if you can share. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Great question. I'm going to bring you right back over to Air Charter Guide, because I realized I just did how to like search an individual company, but not how to just use the site. So can you all see? Can you just nod your head? Yes, you can see Air Charter Guide. Okay. So here at operators, you're going to click on operator again. And again, this is the yellow pages of aviation. Does not mean all of them are on here. Okay. But it's a great starting point until you start learning the industry. So in private aviation, you hear, you'll see like, oh, I'm a corporate flight attendant. I'm an executive flight attendant. I'm a private jet flight attendant. I'm a general aviation flight attendant, right? There are little nuances to each of those, but typically it means this industry as a whole. So when you're here and you click on, again, the tab operators, it brings you to this page. You're going to select executive, right? You also have air ambulance, air cargo, and Wyvern. Wyvern is like an auditing company. I wouldn't worry about it. Just click on executive, okay? Select the region. So Europe, country, am I doing this? Oh, here we go. This one, Olga? Russian Federation, yes?
Yes, that's right. Official name, yes.
Okay, perfect. And then select the state, and you said you want to be,
Moscow, because...
Sorry, city. So you wanted to be back in Moscow.
Moscow, yeah, because, oh, even there is one in Omsk. Interesting. Wow, I didn't even know that. That's impressive, really.
I'm actually not seeing Moscow, but which is interesting to me. But this is where you would start. I'm sure there's some in Moscow. It could be very likely that they just don't use this site.
Vnukovo. Vnukovo will be the Moscow, because that's Vnukovo 3 is the VIP terminal in the airport. So if you scroll down a bit, Vnukovo, where the 14 number is in brackets.
Oh, right here. Okay.
Yeah, so that's gonna be the one.
Okay, so there's 14. There you go. There's your answer. That's how you're gonna start.
Great, thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. So here it says Tag Aviation Europe. Okay, it's showing just one, but you've got to click on the see more, and it opens up all the other ones. Basically, they paid a little bit more money to be at the top of the search. So now you open this up and the world just opened for you. Okay, so you're going to do the same thing, and everybody, I'll just use Olga as an example, right? You're going to click on Avcon Jet. Okay, so I click on Avcon Jet. There's 30 dedicated pilots. They have 26 aircraft in their fleet. They have an airliner VIP, heavy jet, heavy jet, heavy jet, heavy jet. Okay, so this is a company that you'd want to connect with. And again, now you can go over to LinkedIn and click in Avcon Jet. Okay, there it is. And the other beautiful thing that I'm about to show you is I'm going to actually click on it again. Okay, so I haven't shown you this yet. And it shows see all 201 employees. So now you just got connected to all their employees. Okay, and you may absolutely reach out to all 201. Okay, and the conversations are going to be different just based on their roles in the company. Okay, so if they're a pilot or a corporate flight attendant, hi Catherine, like, do you love working for Avcon? Like, I'm currently in commercial aviation, thinking of moving over into, private aviation. Would love to, hear your experience. Okay, did everybody's mind just get blown as far as like, holy mackerel, there's a whole world that I didn't even know about? Okay, I'm going to unshare. Anybody else have questions? Let me see if there's any in the chat. During these meetings, what are a few things you suggest talking about? So I think I touched on that as, honestly, your whole goal is just to actually develop a relationship with that person. Your whole goal going there is not to ask for work. Okay. So you want to get to know that person more. Why did they get into the industry? What industry have they been in prior to? What companies have they worked with? Which companies do they love the most? Which companies do they think that you should connect with at this event? Right? Like these are great conversation starters. Never once are you going to ask, are you hiring? They know you're a flight attendant. You do not need to wear a sign on your forehead. They already know, and they already know that you're going to want work, right? But if you don't show up with desperation and lead with that, well, I'm a flight attendant, I'm new to the industry, I'm looking for work. Great, so is everybody else. Okay, instead, I want to connect with you, because guess what? People hire the people they know, like, and trust. They don't hire the person who says, hey, I'm a flight attendant looking for work. So start developing that relationship. That should be your only goal when you're going to these networking events. Trust me, they know. And you know what? In that follow-up email, you can just do a PS and just be like, you know, if you're ever in need for a flight attendant, I would love to fly with you. Like, I enjoyed our conversation so much. Right? You can just say that. You can also say like, hey, if you know anybody who's looking for a flight attendant, like I'm in the market to work for a really great company. Right? You're not even, because by saying that, I'm not saying like, hey, I'm wanting you to hire me. I'm just saying like, hey, I'm in the market looking for a really great company to work for. Is there anybody you think that I should be meeting here at this event? Is there anybody you think I should be connecting with in the industry? All right. If I was going to the conference, how would you schedule your time exhibits or static display? So when I show up the event, by the way, I am like an introvert. Okay. These events are frightening to me. Don't like them, but they're a necessary thing to the industry. So when I'm able to just come from a place of connecting, it takes off the pressure of rejection, right? Because I'm not asking for anything. I'm just looking to connect. So that's the first thing I do is I go in with the mindset. I also just show up early in the morning, stay all day, stay that night, do the whole next day, and then I fly out, because that's as much as I can handle before I'm just exhausted. And at that point, I'm just wasting time. Okay. So that's why I like to have things already scheduled beforehand. So I know boom, 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 this is what I'm doing. And then the people that I wasn't able to set meetings with prior to, I would go. I don't really like the app, to be honest with you. It's convenient because you don't have the paper map yet. But when you get to the conference, you're going to get the paper map, and it's going to be able to show you where everybody is. So you'll already have your list of the people, the companies you want to connect with. And then once you get the map, once you attend the event and you get the map, the paper map, bring a highlighter, bring lots of pens, don't wear high heels. Okay, you're going to be miserable. But get the map and then look at your list of the people you want to connect with, and then just do like a little roadmap. Like, what order do I need to go in, so that I'm not like over here and then over here and then over here and over here. And some people will want to meet at their booth. Great. So if you already have those meetings scheduled, then when I look at the map and just be like, okay, this meeting's at 10 a.m. What are the other exhibitors within that area that I can meet with before 10 a.m. and at 10:15 after the meeting, right? And then just hit those people. That's what I would do. And then the very next day, I go over to the static display and I connect with all the people over at the static display that I wanted to connect with. If meetings are set, great. If not, then I'm just going and I'm just saying, hi, my name's Steffany. I'm like, I love this event. I love connecting with people. Like, who do you work for? It helps having team members meaning a buddy, right? What do they call it? A wingman. So with our SkyAngels community, what they'll do is the SkyAngels that are going to be at the event, they'll all just do this networking and prospecting together, right? So they walk around the event together. So I would encourage you, ladies who are on this call still, is to figure out, actually, why don't you put in the comments, just put yes if you're going. Okay, so Veronica's going, Sharon's going, Stephanie's going, Sierra's going. Okay, there you go, 4 ladies. There's your posse. It would be great to do that. Our SkyAngels are going to be there too. Maybe what I can do, and I don't know for sure, but maybe what I can do is post on our company page, which is at @fly_SkyAngels, I think. Oh, I should check that. 1 second. I should know our Instagram. Why do I not? Yep, fly_SkyAngels. And I think what I'll do is I'll have Lauren, our media director, maybe post in there where some of our other SkyAngels will be. Maybe we'll have like a meeting time that first day. And then anybody else who wants to meet and come together. And again, a big group is fine. Maybe 1 or 2 of you is fine. Maybe just you. It's whatever you're comfortable with. But I know that our SkyAngels, they'll meet, in like all of our Texas SkyAngels, they'll come together and they'll all go to different FBOs together and stuff like that. and just network as a group. Because like I was saying at the very beginning of this call, is that, you might not be the perfect fit for that company, but you might be the perfect fit for another company. So there is no competition, because I promise you, there is enough private aviation activity happening. There's 25,000 aircraft that take off every single day in private aviation. So if anybody tells you there's not opportunity, it's saturated, you can't get into this market, they're not telling the truth. Okay? There is opportunity for the people who are willing to show up, and the people who are not afraid of rejection, and the people who hear no as next opportunity. And they keep pounding the pavement, and they keep putting themselves out there, and they don't stop. Okay? You've got to make finding your job your full-time job. And then you don't drop people like a bad habit. Okay? After you do land your opportunity, you still keep following up with all the people that you've been connecting with, right? There's nothing worse when you just realize that, like, one of your good friends was actually using you to get to your brother, to date your brother, right? And then she stops talking to you, right? People will feel that energy too. Like, oh, wait, hang on there. Like, Sierra actually didn't care about me and connecting with me. She just wanted a job, and now that she has a job, I've never heard from her again. Like, how bad would that make you feel, right? These are humans you're connecting with. So again, if you're connecting with them authentically from a genuine heart of like, how can I help you be successful? People are going to fall in love with that, and they're going to want that around them. Okay. Regardless of your previous experience or lack of experience or what your experience is in. Okay. Recognize you're the face of that company. So as you're showing up to these events, and if you do decide to go to the after parties, treat it as that. If I'm representing the face of a company, is this the best face for them? Because people will be watching. And you might be the fun girl that's having lots of fun, but you won't be the girl that gets hired. First day is usually the best, Veronica says. Great. Is there any specific? No, I don't think so, but here's the reality, because Sierra asked, is there one specific day at the conference more important than the others? I would definitely hit the first day. And the reason for that is because then everybody's going to the parties, and everybody's hungover, and everybody's exhausted as the week goes on. Okay. So the first day, everybody's vibrant. They're excited to be there, and they're not hungover. Okay. And then everybody it just kind of turns into a sloppy wreck as it goes on. So first day. But I mean, yeah. Yes, if you can choose that. If your only option, because we fly and our schedules aren't this, if your only option is getting in there later, just understand that, just understand people are going to be more exhausted. So then instead of a 10 to 15 minute meeting, maybe it's like literally like, let's just meet for 3 minutes. I just want to shake your hand, put a face with a name. It'd be great, right? I always share like to leave something behind. Okay. So wouldn't it be great if, as part of like handing over your business card, you also handed over like one of those emergency packets, right? Or something like that. You're just like, oh, hey, by the way, let's all stay healthy, right? Or maybe you have, a bunch of sanitizers, or those little wipes, little individual serving like hand wipes, etc. Like a gift, right? Everybody loves a present, regardless of what it is. They just are like, oh, it's free, yay for me. Okay, so think about that. Okay, you can go to Staples if you don't have a business card. It's not that hard to design and create one. You could go onto Canva. If you have Canva, you can actually create your business card on there and then send that file into Staples to get printed. They can typically do that in like whatever. I don't know. Everything's delayed now. But I definitely have business cards, and definitely think of like, what's a small thing that you can leave with people? Is it a sucker? Is it emergency? All right. If there's no more questions, I'm going to let everybody go. Thank you so much for being here. And just remember, right? You have value to give. You have value to bring. Okay. So what makes you uniquely you? so that when people ask what it is that you do, you're not just saying, oh, I'm a flight attendant, right? I create this amazing customized experience for the private jet traveler while making sure that the company I'm flying for is successful.
I have a question, may I ask?
Yes.
Yeah, my question was about resumes. Should we bring any resumes over there? We can staple the business card, or it's too much?
No, because if you go back to what I was saying, right, everybody, it's like the unspoken word. We all know that we're there to network and find opportunities, right? So you really just want to come authentically. You can have a few printed if somebody asks, oh, do you have a resume on file? We're actually looking to hire somebody. Great. Or what would be even better, because let's be real, everybody throws that stuff away. You could still hand it to them, but then also when you do your follow-up email, you're also going to say, and here's an electronic copy of my resume.
Okay. Yeah. And something like you said, to bring a small gift, something like a pen with your name on it or something.
Yeah, if you have time to order that stuff, then definitely do it. I mean, that is costly, but it's great, right? Because a lot of people just go to these events to fill up their swag bag. So if you're, have something, if your swag has your name on it, then that's just one more reason to remember you. But again, I know it's expensive. It just depends on your budget. There's inexpensive ways to do it. Very bare minimum, have a business card.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Beautiful. Have a beautiful time there, ladies. I'm excited. I would love if you wanted to send an email. You can connect with me on Instagram again and just shoot me a DM and let me know what your experience is. You can also ask me questions there as well, and I will be able to respond. Bye. Go rock it.